More than 80 years ago, in a world where heroes all had the faces of men, a woman was created not to fit in, but to change everything. In 1941, as World War II cast its shadow over humanity, Wonder Woman first appeared on the pages of comic books. Her creator, William Moulton Marston, was not just a writer, but also a psychologist with a bold belief. The world would be better if power were guided by truth and compassion. And even more fascinating, Wonder Woman was not purely fictional. She was inspired by two real women in his life, who helped shape a symbol that was both powerful and deeply emotional. From the very beginning, Wonder Woman was unlike any other superhero. She did not fight for fame, not for power, but for justice. In a time when society placed women behind, the idea of a female Amazon warrior standing at the center of a story was shocking. But that very shock made her explode in popularity. Hundreds of thousands of comic copies were sold every month. She first appeared in All-Star Comics in 1941. Just months later, she was on her own cover. And by 1942, she had her own series. This was not animation, not film, but paper comic books. Yet their impact was global. In the 1940s, up to 18 million comic books were sold every month, reaching tens of millions of readers. Wonder Woman quickly became the most famous female hero of that era. By the 1960s, each issue sold an average of 210,000 copies. In a world dominated by men, a woman was selling hundreds of thousands of copies every single month, and Wonder Woman became the most iconic female superhero of her time. But then her spotlight began to fade. As times changed, as audience tastes evolved, Wonder Woman was no longer at the center. She still existed on comic pages, but was gradually overshadowed by male icons dominating popular culture. Then in 1974, a major opportunity arrived. Wonder Woman stepped into the real world for the first time in a television film, played by Kathy Lee Crosby. But instead of creating a sensation, this version disappointed audiences. The iconic costume was gone, her divine powers were unclear, and she was reduced to a more ordinary action character. The film was only a pilot, failing to generate enough impact to become a full series, and it achieved no notable ratings or financial success. The first time she entered the real world, Wonder Woman did not fail because she was weak, but because she had been changed too much. Audiences did not see the Wonder Woman they loved, and they turned away. A chance for rebirth almost became the end. But just 1 year later, in 1975, everything changed. After the failure of the 1974 version, few believed Wonder Woman could return. But this time, ABC restarted from scratch, staying closer to the original comic spirit, faithful to the legendary Amazon image. And then Linda Carter appeared. From her very first moment on screen, audiences were captivated. No modern effects, no CGI, no massive budget. What made people believe in Wonder Woman was her presence. Strong but not cold, graceful but not exaggerated, and especially her gaze filled with integrity. This time, audiences no longer saw an actress playing a role. They saw Wonder Woman herself. The series began with the television film The New Original Wonder Woman in 1975, achieving high ratings that led ABC to produce a full series titled Wonder Woman. It ran for 3 seasons from 1975 to 1979, totaling 60 episodes, becoming one of the most successful superhero series of the 1970s. Commercially, while it did not have box office numbers like films, the series reached millions of viewers weekly in the United States, consistently ranking among the most watched programs, and was syndicated internationally, creating massive global value. It did not need hundreds of millions at the box office. Wonder Woman conquered the world through television screens. But what made this version legendary was not just success, but what it left behind. The costume, the red, blue, and gold armor with the eagle emblem, became iconic. The spinning transformation, a simple effect, became unforgettable for an entire generation. And her power was not just strength or speed, but the rare balance between strength and compassion. She could defeat enemies but always chose to protect rather than destroy. Audiences loved Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, not just because she was powerful, but because she made them believe that strength could coexist with kindness. For the first time in history, a female superhero was not only accepted, but celebrated as an icon. But history seemed to repeat itself. After Lynda Carter's peak, Wonder Woman faded again for many years. While Batman and Superman dominated films, animation, and franchises, Diana had almost no major live-action project to stand at the center. Not because she was weaker, but because Hollywood was not yet ready to place a female superhero as the core pillar. It was not until 2001 that Wonder Woman truly returned in the animated series Justice League, airing on Cartoon Network from 2001 to 2004 with 52 episodes, voiced by Susan Eisenberg, who became one of the most beloved voices of Wonder Woman. This return was not a theatrical release, so it had no box office revenue, but it made a strong impression by positioning Wonder Woman as a core member of the Justice League. She was no longer just a graceful symbol. She became a true Amazon warrior, strong, decisive, regal, fighting alongside Superman and Batman. In 2004, the series expanded into Justice League Unlimited, further deepening her character and leaving a lasting impact on DC fans. Then in 2009, she had her own animated film Wonder Woman, voiced by Kerry Russell, released directly to DVD and Blu-ray. While not a theatrical film, it performed well, selling over 106,000 copies in its first week, earning about $2.04 million, and reaching around $9.91 million in total home video revenue in the U.S. After years of being absent from the big screen, Wonder Woman did not return with a box office explosion, but with a warrior image that an entire generation would remember. But something was still missing, a defining moment. And in 2016, that moment began. Gal Gadot appeared for the first time in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Though her role was small, the moment she appeared in full armor, with her determined gaze, especially in the battle alongside Batman and Superman, audiences took notice. The film grossed around $873 million worldwide, and despite mixed reactions, Wonder Woman was widely praised as a highlight. With just a few minutes on screen, she made the world wait. Then in 2017, what Hollywood had delayed for decades finally happened. The film Wonder Woman was released, directed by Patty Jenkins, marking the first time a female superhero led a major DC blockbuster. And this time there was no doubt, only an explosion. The film grossed over $822 million worldwide, becoming one of the biggest hits of 2017. In the United States, it earned over $412 million, setting a record at the time for the highest domestic gross by a female director. It was not only a commercial success, but also critically acclaimed. After more than 70 years, Wonder Woman did not just return, she conquered Hollywood. But what made the film legendary was not just the money, but the moment. The no man's land scene where Diana stepped out of the trench into gunfire, not because she was invincible, but because she could not stand by while innocent people suffered. It was not just a scene, it was the character's declaration. A woman alone facing war, and still moving forward. That was not when she was at her strongest, but when she was at her bravest. From that moment, Wonder Woman was no longer the past. She became the present. However, the journey was not always victory. In 2020, Wonder Woman 1984 was released during a global pandemic. The film earned around $169 million worldwide, far less than the first. Though it received attention due to simultaneous streaming and theatrical release, audience reactions were mixed. Even a legend cannot shine fully when the whole world stops. But that did not change one truth. From a comic book character in 1941, to a television icon, to an animated warrior, to a global movie star, Wonder Woman reclaimed her place. Not through one victory, but through many falls and rising stronger each time. So after more than 80 years, who is Wonder Woman? She is an irreplaceable memory through the presence of Lynda Carter, who made an entire generation believe she was real. She is the embodiment of the modern era through Gal Gadot, who brought her to the cinematic battlefield and captivated millions worldwide. But above all, Wonder Woman does not belong to one actress, does not belong to one film, does not belong to one era. She is an idea, a belief that no matter who you are or where you come from, you can stand up when everything around you is falling apart. Because Wonder Woman has never been just a superhero, she is a reminder that true strength does not come from power but from the choice to stand up even when no one stands with you. And if this story made you feel something, then this is only the beginning, because behind Wonder Woman there are many more legends characters that changed cinema, changed how we see the world, and even changed who we are. Follow the channel to discover the next stories, the icons, the untold secrets behind the screen, and the moments that made cinematic history, because maybe the next character will be the one you have been waiting for.